Hey guys, this is just a quick video addressing the frequently asked questions for Country Club Apartments. Don't forget this is all available as a PDF as well, so you can read the details, but for those of you that are inclined to watch a video, here we go. First thing, don't forget there's a bunch of videos. They're well worth your time to watch. You can effectively tour the whole asset. If I can just recommend two of them, the first one, which is the overview, and the last one, which is some unique upside and deficiencies on the asset. So be sure to take a look at that. Offer due date and anticipated process. This is just to come as you are. Figure you guys don't like being corralled into call for offers, and I want you to be able to take the time to make sure that you know the asset well and can understand it given the affordable restrictions. Why are the sellers selling? We addressed this in the OM, but basically they executed their business plan. It was a little difficult along the way. They changed management companies early on. They found themselves struggling with the distance from the asset and their ability to get to it. And now they're faced with possibly changing management companies again. And they've just decided it's easier to just cash in and capitalize on their hard work and move ahead. So you can be the beneficiary of their pain and simply step in and finish off the last remaining bid. How do the LIHTC restrictions work? We cover this in detail on page 17 of the offering memorandum. That's physical page 17. So I encourage you to really dig into it and look at it there. But from the transaction perspective, all we have to do is just simply notify South Carolina Housing Finance Authority that the property is being sold and who the new owner is. So from the transaction perspective, pretty simple. Quick reminder about underwriting. There were management changes. So as you look at the financials, we still don't have, even as of March, a clear T12. So just be sure, a lot of you guys are quoting a T12 and it doesn't exist. So make sure that you're adding up the months the right way and really looking at it. May of 2022 would have been the first full month. So here we are, having posted March to the website as of today, and we still don't have a full 12 months. Pro forma expenses, why do they differ so much from historical? Well, basically, the property was being repositioned quite a bit. This has been a big point of contention for the current owners, is that the property is running a very high expense ratio. All I can tell you is they have gone out to get other management quotes, and we, for our pro forma, are utilizing pro forma expenses that have been approved by a third-party management company that operates multiple properties of similar size and quality in that submarket. And they have looked at the historical operations and basically approved this entire pro forma as to how they would run it, from their management fee to leasing commissions to everything else. So we feel pretty confident in this, and it's pretty consistent with other assets that I've sold, including how this property performed in the prior sale. Real estate taxes. Why do the pro forma taxes differ so significantly from the historical? So we go into this, basically the owners had the incorrect mailing address for their taxes, so they did not have a chance to contest them when the computer triggered it as a valuation based on sales price. It did it incorrectly because of the affordability. They needed to contest it and say value us based on income. So by the time they got to where they could address that at the end of 2022, it was too late. They just decided to pay the taxes that were on the bill so that they were not in default and then address it. And the county was great. They came back and said, you're correct. We did value it incorrectly, and they wrote them a refund. So that's $67,000 in taxes back down to, what was it? There was a $25,000 reduction or refund that the county provided. And they gave a written commitment that they'll use the same valuation amount for 2023. So we're pretty much looking at the same taxes in 2023, only difference being whatever millage rate they come up with for every year. So we've factored that in as to be pretty consistent, and I've got it budgeted for 3% growth year over year for the term. December delinquency, why was it so high? So basically in December of 2022, they wrote off a year's worth of bad debt. You know, if you look back at the financials, there was just no bad debt charged any in the months until December came along, and they charged it all then. That's not common practice. I don't know why that was the way it was, but that's the answer to that. As we move on from underwriting to operations, so the big one here, the big change that we've had is with occupancy and evictions. So you probably want to dive back into the PDF and read the exact details, but when we valued this, the property was at 96% occupancy. And we had one vacant that had come due, Unit 17. That was one of the ones we toured. It was an original unit requiring full renovation, and the sellers elected to just not deal with the renovation. They didn't like the pricing that they had gotten from the management company. They didn't really want to do it, even though they had the capital reserves, and they kind of felt comfortable with their overall occupancy. Well, yeah, Murphy's Law. Here we go, and whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Next thing they realized, they had a couple of units with substantial delinquencies, 4,000 or more. So 3-4 months worth of back rent. And all of a sudden those were up for eviction. And then they had an unintended eviction where a resident showed a weapon. And then a couple of skips and turning in keys. So before you know it, you had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units vacant. So where there were some issues historically, that the owners were not super proactive in pre-approving units to be turned before they were vacated. A lot of that stemmed from some of the pricing that they just were not comfortable with, and the attempt to find other vendors. And so moving forward, what the ownership has done is they've committed and have gone ahead and approved for all of the units that are vacant and or going to be vacant to be approved in advance to be turned. So, you know, they're going to be pushing for 100% occupancy. We expect for these vacant units, the management has said that they will have them turned by the 15th, give or take a day, and should be leased well before the end of the month. They're hopefully shooting for the 19th. So these are in high demand units. And the ownership and management are going to strive for 100% occupancy on both their parts to inevitably accommodate the odd move out or eviction that might have to occur. And we should be in a good spot moving forward relative to financing. But obviously, if you're going to pursue agency financing, we'll need a 90% occupancy for 90 days. So everyone's got their eye on that ball for your benefit and theirs. It's worth noting, not one of these residents that had to be evicted, or even for which there was a problem, was a resident that the current management approved. They were kind of old, long-term legacy residents. And even one of the ones that skipped was not even delinquent. So, you know, to be fair, these were not residents that were put in, and it looks like the remainder of the residents have a very solid payment history. So I don't anticipate any issues moving forward. One last, or second to last question, physical related, aluminum wiring. So the property, we're basing this all off a property condition report by a third party from the prior owner's acquisition. We don't have a copy of the report from this owner's acquisition, but provided a copy about aluminum wiring. So the property was built in 2 phases. Buildings 1 and 2 were in the earlier phase. Those 2 buildings, according to the report, had some aluminum wiring. That has been addressed with Kohler from what the report showed. So it's your typical situation where half the property has aluminum, it has Kohler remediation, but you'll want to talk to your insurer about that, and we've provided a copy of that report in this frequently asked questions, and I'm happy to provide the entire report if you want. Final question, rents. When will the 2023 allowable rents be published? So HUD is actually behind this year. Typically they strive for April 1st, and according to Novogradac, they've got a stated target date of May 15th to publish those 2023 rents that'll carry through until this time the next year. There's actually a link to an article in the PDF that you can read straight from the third party that kind of addresses what is their outlook both for 2023 and the future for those rent increases. But Charleston's been a beneficiary of a lot of in-migration and rising incomes, and so they've just benefited from a very substantial rent growth that averaged 5% a year since 2015 in these allowable rents. I think in my own underwriting, I've actually budgeted for that to be a little bit lower with 0% rent growth in year one and 4% rent growth year over year. So I think that'll accommodate things nicely. As always, I'm happy to take any phone calls, discuss anything in further details with you guys. So just please reach out, and look forward to getting you informed and up to date and hopefully touring you on the property. Thanks.